Hey, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Christina and I am joined by some amazing colleagues. Ashwin and I are going to be leading us through this session of Ask the Experts and talking today about virtual events with Teams. So we're not going to present at you. We're going to make it more conversational. So we hope that you've watched our session. If you haven't, that's okay. No pressure. If you have virtual events questions, we are here to answer them. Please put any questions in the Q&A panel, and across me and my 12 closest friends that are with us today, we will respond. So first, I'd like to start off with just responding to a common question that Ashwin and I have been getting a lot around. There's live events, there's meetings. Now we're talking about webinars. What does this all mean? And so I think the simplest way to put it is today, as you know, we have a live events experience, which you are a part of right now. Talk about Inception. And then we also have Teams meetings. And so going forward, we've made a conscious decision to bring the live events functionality and meetings together, so we can simplify the usability and simplify the ability to deploy the solutions for our customers. And so a lot of what you heard about in our session and that you hear about today are new features and functionalities coming to meetings. And this is a step towards bringing the scale and structure we have in events today, the production capabilities that we have in events today, into meetings. And so, yes, so please, any questions about that, any thoughts on that, please put them in the Q&A and we will discuss them. And that said, Ashwin, hey.
Hey, Christina, how's it going?
Good.
Good morning. Or good afternoon to everyone. I'm not sure where you are, but good afternoon. Really looking forward to answering your questions. As Christina said, we have some really exciting vision for you today, as well as being able to answer your question is a pleasure for all of us. So really looking forward to the next 45 minutes, an hour, and answering all the questions that you have and having a discussion. Honestly, as Christina said, we've been living and breathing this product for a while. Ironic that you're watching us in the product that we'll be discussing, but really looking forward to all the things that we can discuss in the next hour.
All right, let's jump into the Q&A, Ashwin. Let me see. What do we got here? We have a question about are the meetings and live events coming together? And I guess, Ashwin, will you tell us a little bit about some of the initial steps and features that are launching in the next couple months within meetings to take a step towards this convergence?
Yeah, absolutely. So as many of you know, today we have two products, but the way that we looked at it when we first started this vision was live events. As we know it today, the scenarios that you hold within live events today, if you really dissected it, there were like a few different buckets that you could characterize of the needs that you have. One is scale. Obviously, meetings doesn't go up to the scales that you need for a live event. So that's one portion. And another portion is the interactivity. You want to be able to have a one-to-many style interaction within a event. And then also you have the engagement like Q&A and the production capabilities with the production panel. So as we think about this new vision, as we go to a more combined platform, the capabilities are what matters. And some of the things that we are providing you within a Teams meeting will allow you to have your live events within the meetings platform. We'll continue to have live events, but soon all the goodness that you will reap the benefits of being in the meetings platform will really drive you towards using Teams meetings as your live events vehicle. For example, we are releasing a automatic overflow that will take your meeting up to 1,000, but also beyond that as well. In addition to that, we are also releasing capabilities to make it one-to-many. So with hard mute, you'll be able to ensure that no one is able to unmute, and you have that interaction model where it's like a broadcast, where you can be a speaker and everyone will be listening. So as I mentioned, it's the capabilities that matter, and that's what we will be providing within meetings for your scenarios, whether it is a collaborative one or 3-person meeting, or if it's a 500-person town hall. The benefits of meetings, again, is a lot of people say live events, it feels like I'm talking to the void. And even now, feels like I'm talking to the void, except for the Q&A. I can see all the questions coming in. But with Teams meetings now, you have the capabilities to unmute audience members and have them ask questions live and have that rich interaction with your audience. So really, it's going to be a net benefit as we make this shift.
Thanks, Ashwin. I think a few other questions coming in about, you know, can I use together mode? Is there going to be Q&A and a back channel chat in meetings? The short answer is yes. So as we're bringing these capabilities together, and as Ashwin said, over the next month or 2 months, 3 months, you're going to see new things coming up in meetings, including the ability to extend up to 20,000 attendees. Including the ability to add registration to any meeting. And this also includes the ability to use some custom presenter layouts. So in a Teams meeting, we talked a little bit about some of the new custom layouts coming where you can impose yourself over your content. And we're also working on bringing some of the new together mode scenes into Teams meetings for presenters. And what that would look like, and I'm not sure the timing on this. I don't know if it's this calendar year or the top of next, but it is in progress. So using together mode as a presenter would mean that you could force attendees to see this like a panel of speakers, and then the content would be shown on the screen at the same time. And so I think as we think about more webinar type events, and it's like we're doing right now, something like that will be really beneficial for presenters.
Christina, there's one question that's you know, I personally want to see your answer for. Chris asked, what is your personal favorite new feature?
My favorite new feature, oh my gosh, it's probably the it's got to be the custom layouts for presenters, because as a person that spends all day talking and meeting with customers and listening and learning, it's, you know, we're in meetings all day long. So these new custom layouts are going to make it more engaging for your attendees, for people watching, to not have to choose between looking at content or looking at the speaker. You'll feel more connected, like you're in the same room as people almost. So I really think it's the custom backgrounds are just gonna help so much with meeting fatigue and engagement. So that's probably what I'm most excited about. Although I'm a total nerd for technology, so I get pretty excited about all this stuff, to be honest.
Yes, likewise. I wish I could say all the features that we have coming out is my favorite, but by far, personally, my favorite, along with together mode and all the custom layouts that we're going to be releasing, it's the introduction of the Teams accessibility platform, and the first app that we are really looking forward to is a polling app, where you'll be able to have rich interaction within the Teams meetings or a large meeting with your audience. And not just that, my excitement is really because of the fact that we will be leveraging the developer ecosystem and really leveraging our developers and that ecosystem to be able to provide us with capabilities within Teams meetings that we can scale out to as fast as the ecosystem can. events. So really looking forward to polls and then everything else that will be built on top of it.
Yeah, so, and I see there's a couple questions around timing, so we'll respond to some of these. So first of all, the overflow feature that Ashwin mentioned. So this is the idea that you have a meeting of 300, 1,000, and you want to scale up past that. So with the concept of overflow, anybody else that joins after you hit your capacity will go into a view-only experience where they can follow along, they can use captions, and that will reach up to 20,000. And that's something that we're launching in about a month. That'll be available to customers. And then the fast follow to that will be the adding registration pages, attendee registration before meetings, and also the custom layouts. So we are for all of the things that we've kind of talked about in the session, we're targeting this calendar year for the majority of those. So you'll see them coming to meetings soon. And I think that'll, from a live event standpoint, I think, like we kind of said, that's our first step towards really bringing some of the capabilities we have in live events and new capabilities to meetings to help them extend to meet your needs for webinars and other events. And then I think something we haven't talked about is the ability to use events with live events as they exist today with your in-room conferencing systems and some of your devices. So, and Ashwin, it would be good to get your thoughts on this too, but I think this whole idea of convergence and again, it won't be a light switch when all of a sudden, meetings have all of the capabilities that a live event has today, but we're starting to add those so we can address things like using your in-room Teams meeting solutions with events. But Ashwin, what are some of your thoughts on how devices play into this?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me step back a little. As we talked about convergence and the benefits of convergence, one of the key benefits is you'll be able to utilize a lot of the currently already implemented Teams meetings features. One of them being Teams room systems and everything that comes with it. So as we make this transition into being able to have your events within Teams meetings up to 1,000 and beyond, you'll be able to have presenters join in through your Teams room systems. Very much like today in a Teams meeting where you'll be able to have them join in. In addition to that, I've seen a few questions as well around being able to call in. So again, that's another benefit of attendees within a Teams meeting. You'll be able to utilize a PSTN and your phone numbers to be able to have them call in and listen. And through that, a lot of the features that we're building, like hard mute, as well as any attendee limitation, will translate to those endpoints as well, both PSTN as well as hard mute if attendees decide to join through Teams room systems. So with that said, I think it's net benefit. To answer the question specifically around can I produce a Teams or like a live event or a large meeting through a Teams system? Absolutely. We'll be providing you with the hooks to do it. I think at the beginning, it will be very similar to what you have today as a presenter joining in. But as we mature as we go on through our vision and the journey of unification, we'll be providing you with additional hooks to be able to do it right through your Teams room system.
Thanks, Ashwin. See a couple other questions around production capabilities coming in. So today in live events, you can connect RTMP, you can leverage an encoder, customize your layouts and formats. And so we are looking to build these production capabilities into Teams meetings as well. I think our first venture into that space was the integration with NDI, where you can connect and you can separate out video feeds, you can push them to social streaming sites, to third-party endpoints. And then at the beginning of next calendar year, we're looking to also add the ability to leverage RTMP We're also looking at streaming features directly to kind of an out-of-the-box streaming feature directly to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and then I think something that, and maybe Ashwin has some thoughts on this too, but something we've also been talking about are more custom layouts where you could, for example, add a title, or you could add some kind of other customization or branding to the feed without having to connect to a third-party production tool. So Ashwin, any thoughts on that? On will we have other layouts coming in the future or ways to customize without using third-party production tools?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we venture beyond the scenarios that we support today, like a town hall, all hands, collaborative meetings, as we start releasing webinar features and capabilities, it's really important to have branding be at the forefront. You want to look the best to your external audience. One of that is being able to dictate lower thirds, putting branding on top of it, logos, watermarks, things like that. So we're absolutely thinking about that. It's the foundational pieces that we need to provide, and it's basics. But where we stop and where we guide towards transitioning to a third party or even some other Microsoft tool is something that we will need to have a discussion with all our customers and figure out where that line is. I think we'll provide those basic foundational tools for you to be able to dictate right within Teams meetings. As well as events. But as we go on through this journey of unification, we'll need to figure out where that line is, where we transition over to a third party and leverage third party in the ecosystem. In addition to that, one thing that that Christina mentioned that I want to really emphasize is there's many different unifications going on right now. You might have heard and been in the session with Mark and the Stream team around their vision of what Stream is next. As we bring together Teams as a central place for events and meetings, we will ensure all the things that you have today will continue working the way it does today. This includes RTMP, and Christina mentioned this. RTMP in is something that we're looking into, we're working on right within Teams, being able to bring in your RTMP feed within Teams and use it for your events or even a meeting. If you want to be able to bring in a feed from OBS or a hardware encoder into Teams for your 20-person presentation, you can. So we'll be working on that, and net benefit of doing that within live events today is that you'll be able to bring in external audiences for your RTMP-based encoder meetings, which is going to be net awesome because of the fact that a lot of these events are going to be external events, conferences that you're putting on, things like that. So really looking forward to that feature.
Cool. A couple other questions coming in about features. So the new breakout rooms, yes. So there was a question about are those breakout rooms going to be in the live events as they exist today or in meetings? And the short answer is they're going to be in meetings, but as we talked about, as we start to add more features to meetings as part of the convergence of the live events capabilities, you'll find that you will essentially begin using meetings for your events and for your webinars. And so as you do so, I think that's the short answer for why we're adding breakout rooms, why we're adding custom layouts, why we're adding all of these things to meetings and not live events. Versus the engineering teams doing work on the two channels right now. We're focusing on meetings so we can continue to build that out until all of the capabilities that are in live events are also in meetings. And that includes, I saw a question on this earlier, and that includes adding a Q&A functionality to Teams. And so in addition to having a chat with your large event in a meeting, you could have a more structured Q&A like you do today in live events. I think one other question I saw come in is around integrating with CRMs. So I think, as we venture into this world of webinars, it's going to be super important for teams to be able to integrate into things like Dynamics 365, of course, also Salesforce, Marketo, Eloqua. And the first step towards that is going to be some APIs that we're opening up this year. And those APIs will be associated with the reporting and the scheduling of meetings, and that ties back to the registration form that we talked a little bit about. And Ashwin, do you want to talk a little bit more about some of the options with those APIs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything starts with APIs, being able to expose all the features that we have, including, I think there was one question around attendance report, through the APIs. I think as we build these new features, one of the things, and just a insight into how we're thinking within the engineering team is, now every feature that we build absolutely needs to be thought about. How do we expose it through the API as well? It's not just within Teams. As we build a platform, the extensibility platform, we absolutely need to maintain a one-to-one mapping and relationship with the APIs that we expose. Whether it is raise hand or attendance report or scheduling or reporting, it needs to be there. So as we start doing that, being able to schedule, you can do that today. Being able to specify meeting options while you schedule, that's coming up. Attendance report, various other things that you need to be able to hook into to create experiences, we will be providing. So that's baseline. We're going to do that. But now we're going to leverage the ecosystem to build, whether it is CRM apps within Dynamics CRM, or marketing automation solutions within Marketo, or LMS systems with Blackboard, sorry, or like healthcare solutions. We'll be leveraging the ecosystem, working with these partners to be building these connectors to their systems, leveraging the APIs that we have, and frankly, anyone can now build them as well because of these publicly available APIs. So really looking forward to establishing that baseline and then working with partners to build on top of that.
Awesome. Yeah. There was a question I saw earlier too, asking if Ignite was run solely on Teams, and I will say the short answer is no. When you get to a conference of the size and mass of Ignite, any kind of conference, you're always going to need multiple solutions that come together and integrate together. I don't think even outside of Microsoft, there's not a single solution that can be in my opinion, that can run an end-to-end conference and meet every single need and check every box. And so I think we realize that, and so we are looking at opening up additional APIs and not just thinking about integrations with CRM, but thinking about integrations with other core event tools, Cvent, Event Builder, tools like that our customers already own and use for a lot of their event management. And so so stay tuned to our roadmap, because that's something that you'll see us sharing more information about in the upcoming months. So let's see, Ashwin, any other questions in the chat that
yeah.
Okay.
So this is one question around when live events combine with Teams meetings in the future. That also means the meeting recording on these large events will be stored in OneDrive and SharePoint. Is that right? Yep, absolutely. So everything that you see today and we're doing within Teams meetings today will continue to move forward as we start this convergence. So for your live events, again, I'm going to repeat myself. All the benefits of Teams meetings you'll be able to reap as we do this transition. So this includes PSTN Teams Room System, as well as meeting recordings, easy meeting recordings published straight into OneDrive SharePoint, like it is being done today as they transition from Stream to OneDrive and SharePoint.
Cool. Let's see. There's a question here about the Advanced Communication license. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Advanced Communication add-on, it's a new SKU, and a lot of these features that we've talked about today, including the ability to scale up to a 1,000 person interactive meeting or a 20,000 person broadcast from a meeting, will be included in the advanced comms SKU. And you can either, as an admin, you can go directly to Teams and purchase those. I think it's $12 per license, and there is, I believe, some discounts available until January 31st if you purchase by then. And so these licenses then you can assign to people within your organization that need the capabilities. So you could think of them as I guess like an event host license. So there were questions around, can I assign it to one person and then assign it to somebody else? And I think the short answer is yes. If you assign a license to somebody and they were to leave the company, you could reassign it to somebody else. It wouldn't be null and void. So, and then there was also a question around, how am I measuring usage of that license? That part of the question, I'm not 100% sure. Ashwin, do you know if a customer were to assign an advanced comms license to somebody in their organization, is there a way to tell if they're using the license, or would you just need to look at, could you tell if they're using meeting capabilities?
I think you will be able to, through the dashboards that we provide, the admin dashboards, usage dashboards, you'll be able to see what type of meetings that they've been scheduling, as well as the capabilities. From a registration point of view, from a granular what is part of advanced comms registration point of view, I'd have to get back in terms of figuring out like how we're going to pipe that into the admin dashboards. But from a just scheduling a meeting and the usage point of view, you'll be able to see all of that to detect whether, like, you know, that usage is or they're leveraging the advanced comms capabilities.
Yeah.
There's just one question that I'd like to answer, and I think it really wraps up a lot of the things that we've been saying in the last 45 minutes. The question is, are there ideas to have options to transform a live event into a Teams meetings groups, creating a true event feeling where we can switch from keynote-like to working groups? I think that scenario itself really shines or really puts in the forefront of why this unification is so powerful. So let me go through a scenario in the future as we bring together live events and meetings. You'll start every event as a Teams meeting. So you go to a scheduling form, you'll schedule it. In the future, we might even have templates where you can click on a template for an event. What that does is it selects options that structure the meeting. So the option to hard mute everyone will be available. The option to hide attendees in the stage will be available. The option to disable chat will be selected. Option to disable the roster will be selected. So what you're doing through all the option selections or through a template where it selects it for you, it's creating that one-to-many. So when you enter the meeting and when attendees enter the meeting, it will feel like a live event, but really the underlying platform is Teams meetings. So you'll have all your presenters there. You'll have the layouts that we talked about, so you can really produce it the way you like. Attendees will just be watching it up to 1,000 and beyond. And when let's just say it's a 800 person keynote you're trying to do, so it'll be 800 people. Then let's just say in the middle of that keynote, you want to have breakout rooms. You can click on the breakout rooms feature and actually do that seamlessly, break them out, and then they'll go into the breakouts. They'll be able to discuss. And then when they come back to the main meeting, those options will still continue to be where it's one-to-many. So really what you're doing is you're taking the goodness of live events, of the one-to-many scale, bringing it to Teams meetings, and then leveraging Teams meetings features like breakouts to do certain interactivity. You can even, I'm not sure if you would want to do this, but even take off the unmute feature, hard mute feature, and have everyone be able to talk. Or even if you want to have Q&A, ask them to raise their hands and unmute individually. So that capabilities of being able to talk to your attendees will be there that you don't currently have today. I wish I could talk to you. I wish I could see your face, but unfortunately I can't.
I think that is a good point to end on, Ashwin. Thank you everybody so much for joining us today. And also thank you to all of the experts that have been answering questions like crazy in the Q&A. We invite you to view our deep dive session, which is posted in the Q&A as well. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us.